It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.
You might find. So, Ed, yeah, you're on that. Oh, what is that? Oh, yeah, that's on that's fine. Yep, you're good.
So good evening everybody. Unfortunately we haven't been able to do a stream live, so I'm going to be in the past, so to speak. But this is the 2023 CNZ National Ladies North versus South representative match. We all know how much fun these are. We've seen several of the Nationals ones at the Opens. We recently saw the Christchurch game against the Southern Pride. And now you guys will get to watch the ladies duke it out from each island. So right now we've got a room view going. We don't actually have any matches started just yet. But when we do get some matches going, we will cross to our streaming table. Which is that one there, which is Agnes Kimura, as you can see, racking the balls. And I believe she's playing against Tony Blair, although I'm just going to wait for her to walk into shot. It's not a race to 6, by the way. I believe it's the same format as the Open South Islands and the Open Nationals, is that they play 3 frames, so there is no race, so to speak. Similar to snooker, you play all 3 frames, so you can have a 3-0 win, a 2-1 win, a 2-1 loss, or a 3-0 loss. So Agnes breaking off and breaking dry, so Tony will get first pick of the balls, and maybe these players have decided to play a bit of speed pole just in case there's a money match being played at some other point. Not sure how good either of these players are at speed pool. I suppose we might find out. But Agnes has established a set for herself. Came down recently to play in the Ladies National Snooker Championships as well. Well done to Denise Wilkinson for winning that. And Denise, of course, managed to make it to the final of the pairs of this event earlier in the week. Back to this. Tony plays for this club. Agnes Kimura represents Swanson RSA, which is in West Auckland. I had the pleasure of representing their club when I played in the Nationals last year, when I played with Lee Hildred, who incidentally is Agnes's partner. Lovely, lovely pair actually, those two. Did a lot for me when I was in Tauranga or in Mount Maunganui playing under their banner. If she can release that 5, she'll be golden here. She's still okay on the 3 there. She may decide to try it now. She's got an angle she can come out, and ideally if she hits the black, she's actually dug in too far and missed both the pot and the split. So it doesn't look like the black's on anywhere. Well, not right now anyway. The 13's actually a pain there for Tony because the black looked like it would go top left, but not with the 13 sitting there. So Tony's had a go at the split again and got the split but missed the pot, but as it is, it's actually worked out pretty well for her because there's a fair bit of ugliness on this table here. To get the 13 first, and she clears a lot of that away, and she gets a pretty good result with that 6 being blocked. But this angle looks pretty good here for Tony to try and move into that 6 now. She looks like she's just off straight, so play off this, move the 6. Or even try to put the 6 past the 8. She just over-cued it. So she's going to have to come off maybe 2 rails and hit the 5 here. She's gone too wide, so it'll be a combo for Agnes. 10 first to get on the 14 would be my bet here. The 14, then 15, and then just a wee angle on the 12 or something so she can move the 13 away from there. Unfortunately, since she's left-handed, she'll have to use the jigger here. The right-handed player may very well have been able to reach that, but the lefty would struggle. That's lovely queuing down the rail though. The 15 may cut in the middle here. The 13 also cuts into the top left corner if she wants to take the risk and play that now. That would pretty much be the game shot. If she takes that, pots it, you'd pick her to win the frame, but if she misses it, then she opens the 6 up for Tony. Looks like she's going to go balls to the wall here, which I really like. She got the pace. Yes, well played. So Sam Hopkinson just giving me some stick in the background.
You like balls to the wall.
She'll want to go up and then back down table here. She might have actually cued that too well. Just that look on her face tells me she's cued it too well. She wanted to be somewhere in bulk there, but she's actually blown right past it. Just takes the 1 rail, didn't need to do anything fancy. She's just been playing snooker as well, so this shouldn't be too difficult.
Oh, they're playing pairs. Where? Oh, some of them are pairs.
Just need to treat this like a mid-range snooker shot. And down she goes. So first frame, Agnes Kimura. Just a reminder also that we have, I believe, 8 singles and 4 pairs for each team. Singles and pairs are playing concurrently. We have, 10 tables in this hall. We've got 10 tables in the other hall, but we're playing exclusively on these 10. So try to get a mixture of singles and pairs being played. Agnes. And what this will be as well for the players, even though the majority of these players will be playing on Friday as opposed to tomorrow, which is the trophy event for those who didn't qualify in section play. This will be A, a good bit of fun, but B, another chance to play in a pressure situation, because with all the noise in the room and everything else that comes with playing a North versus South game, it's good to actually get an idea.
This is the preview.
That's what I am seeing,
Yeah,
is it?
that's what they're saying.
Okay.
If you want to have a look at.
So Paul's just shown me something really cool here. 12 could be on here. Just quickly going back to that. Paul's showing me something really cool here where I can actually toggle between the side view and the front view. See, we've got the side view on right now, but we can actually change to the top view and still have the side view on the other screen. So you guys won't be able to see it's the top view now, which I can see, but I can see a side view at the same time, which you guys can't see, which I can use to describe a shot better if I need to. So often with angles, you get them wrong simply because your view's wrong. But here I can actually see both views at the same time. "12 looks like it's on from here. She wants to take it now, which you would suggest she would. You could always use that to get onto the 8, and some players would, but with the 2 being there, it's very difficult to do so. I mean, my pick is to get rid of the 12 early and concentrate on using one of the other balls to get on for the black. Not really ended up on anything there. The 15's the obvious next ball, but then you're kind of struggling for pos after that unless you really belts it. So she got the double. Maybe there could be a plant on here.
I'm just going to go and see Tracy for a second.
13 onto the 12, possibly. I mean, neither angle actually shows whether it's on or not. I'm just going off what the player plays. She's tried to double the 13 there and came up short. Now Tony gets a chance at the table. Unfortunately, she can't make it fit either. So Agnes will leave 12 for last. That needs to stop as well. She's actually hitting them, she's cueing them really nicely so far in this game. Just going to try to sit it on the 2 and give Tony nothing here. So Tony could jack up on 2 here and try to screw the cue ball back to the top rail. I don't think that's quite what she was after. Not taking the cut on though, she's just looking to be patient. And Tony's got it all to do here. It's one of those situations where if you do manage to, then you just take your cap off. It's well played, but oh, look out, look out. You see, I couldn't see that on one view, but I could on the other. Now, does the black pass the 1?
You may start getting messages from Sarah.
Oh, okay. Doesn't look like it. I reckon she's playing the 1 here as a free ball. And well struck. Got nice action off that top rail there. Black is relatively simple. So 2-0 Agnes. And as I said before, the 3rd frame does get played even if a player is 2-0 ahead. So this becomes a big frame for both players really, because so often these games are decided by just a number of frames. If you are able to nick the one at the end despite being 2-0 down, then that could go so far towards your team actually winning. Got Chris Scary sat next to me when he decides he wants to engage. And again, no success on the break for Agnes, so next starts now for Tony. Immediately looking at the 1. This is what's been her problem. She just hasn't been able to get started. And so many occasions where she's had a reasonably good lie and not been able to pot the first ball to get going. Agnes nominating overs and also unsuccessful, so Tony will get a shot at actually having a go at this frame after all.
So we can update that when you get, if one of us gets a message from either Sarah or Tracy.
Oh yeah.
Because Sarah said she made us a jury.
So we will hopefully be able to update the actual game scores, because you can see them at the bottom. You can see them at the bottom on the screen. At the moment, we don't, by the looks of it, we don't have any results in yet. But hopefully as they come through to any of us sitting up here, we will be able to include them. Just wonder if Agnes is going to have a flash at that 13 here off the 15. Yeah, she definitely gave it a ride, and she's not exactly going to miss it now, is she? Married up right next to it. I don't think she'll mind too much though. This is a chance for her to free it. I don't think she wanted to stick on it though. I get the distinct feeling that Tony's going to send her straight back in here, because I wouldn't want anything to do with this. Yeah, I don't even think Tony had to look at it. As soon as she noticed they were stuck together, she said, "No, Agnes, you can have this. You created it, you can deal with it." Oh dear. So 2 fouls in a row as a combo. Of course, Tony exercising the play again option. If you foul the second time round, it's a combo, so good work there from Tony. Well, I think Agnes has just gotten her rules mixed up there. I think Tony's just gone and reminded her that she asked her to play again, and thus that second foul she conceded was a combo. Oh, Tony. Dear oh dear. She hasn't had a particularly good game, unfortunately. Sometimes that happens though. As I said, it's a good sort of warm-up match for what's coming later on. So if there are any issues with her stroke or with anything else, then it'd be good to find out now. Fortunately for Agnes, there was something definitely wrong with that though. Maybe recognising the fact that Tony needs a bit more table time. She tried to get on the 4 there, but she's ended up over queuing it. Still got options though. The 3's probably the number 1 here. Cut to the middle, not quite. Love how she had a full-blooded attempt at it though. No point just half hitting it and hoping. You had to give it a ride. Most likely take the 14 here to get back off the top rail for the 13. Oh, that's not horrible. If black weren't there it would have been better, but this will still cut. Or double, whichever will poison. Oh, I tell you what, that was not far away. Struck me as being a particularly good cutter for the small amount of times I've actually seen her play. I have seen her play before this, mind you. But from the limited sample size, she definitely doesn't mind a cut. Could be a chance here for Tony to get onto the 4. Depending on the angle, look at the cue ball track, but she's missed the pot. Pretty simple this, she's got a fairly large area to land in here. Right there included. Now just this for the win, so ends up blanking Tony 3-0 there. So we do certainly have a result to show you. We just need to see if any others have come in so we can get a full score update.
I've just got that now. So it was 3-0. It's 5, it's 8, 8-4.
See, I recently got one there saying it was saying it was 5-4 to the north.
So we've got 5, yeah. So, and then at that 3, that's 8-4.
Okay, so there's your score as it stands.
So you can't see that just yet.
Currently the north leading 8 frames to 4.
Now we're going to have a quick, while we're waiting for the match, quick ad.
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.
Yep.
Rightio. So you see there, just to the left of centre is Kat McKenzie just about to walk to the table. I must say I do like those Glen Eden RSA shirts. They look really cool. In fact, there's a lot of really cool playing shirts at this tournament. You saw lots of them at the Opens as well, but I love the fact that they are becoming more colourful and more personalised now. I know it's a fairly funny thing to speak about, because you're just playing pool in them, but they are for many players a walking billboard. And obviously players have got their favourite tops that they play, and you generally, if you see them playing in multiple tournaments, they'll generally cycle through 2 or 3 tops. But just the range that you've got available now, and the team tops that you get as well, especially the ones I've seen here in Christchurch, are incorporating a lot of different designs into them and different colours. So it's great to actually see more of them here at these events. So you see Claire Shanaher to the right there. And you see that you've got a reasonably good audience too in the room watching this, which is really good for the game, to be fair. I mean, you're not seeing any knockouts or anything being played, but you still see a lot of support for the players who have been chosen for their respective island. And doesn't matter which island you're from as well, there's an awful lot of love and appreciation in the room too. Because this tournament is, as well as the National Open, which will be coming in a few months' time, it is a chance to have people who haven't seen each other for quite a while come together and actually spend time in each other's company. Not just to play pool, but just to socialise as well. And this is what these are for a lot of people. It's a chance to play pool, but it's more so a chance to meet friends again or make new friends. You meet people at pool tournaments, especially when you're starting to play. I can speak from experience that a lot of people I met when I was just starting to play are people that I still meet at pool tournaments now. I'll never forget them. And it's great to still see them play now and still to play against them now. It's one thing I love about these is that you just new faces, and then you see old faces for the 20th, 30th time. But it's always so good. It does appear that the North Island got a win there. Although it's pretty hard to tell, of course, until we get a score update of any sort. You see Galen Bullmore all just walking back through the middle of the screen there. Top left of screen there is, in the black, red and yellow top, of course, is Jojo Coleman, who alongside Camelia Cook won the pairs final.
That's the North Island team.
So I'll just run through the teams for you. I do have it in front of me. Singles, you've got Temple Gailey, Rachel Langdon, Tatum Manning, Crystalie Jane, Agnes Kimura, Debbie Coates, Victoria Heavey, Rita Tuamo, Nita Clarkson, and Teresa Murty. And then in the pairs you've got Shannon Ortene, I think it is, and Galen Bullmore All. Lorna, I was going to say Frost, but unfortunately it can't be her because she's passed. But we only have a first name, we don't actually have a last name at this point. And Brenda, you've got Suzanne and Maureen. I know people are going to know exactly who these players are. I'm not that crash hot with this, unfortunately. Mihiro and Marama. Aroha Tehara, I do know this one. And Lillian Takiwa. And then you've got Raywin and Marie. So there's your North Island team. And in the South Island team, you've got Camellia Cook, Larissa Devine. Yeah, I know some people are going to say something about that too. Chantal Gray, Gina Grimwood, Tony Blair, Janet McGrath, Louise Kerr, Kirsten Allmore, Claire Shanaher, and Jojo Coleman. So those are your singles. And in the pairs you've got Katie Curran and Joanne Clapp, Sophia Pinelli and Kat McKenzie, Lizzie Moses, I believe it is, and Tabitha Poe, Maxine Soul and Katrina McLean, Aileen Barnes and Liz Hullen, and Shirley Boyce and Corinne Simpson. So there you see Lizzie and Tabitha just walking into towards the middle of your screen now. Lizzie just giving Agnes a hug. But one thing you may or may not be able to hear is, as much as the noise in the room, you've also got a lot of laughter in the room too, which I absolutely love. I mean, this is obviously you want to win for your island. You always want to get one up on your other island, but this is more about having some fun. At least it is for me anyway. I know some people might disagree with that, but as far as I'm concerned, this is a bit of table time and a whole lot of fun. And it's great to actually see the players and the supporters embracing that concept. So just left of your screen, we just went behind the sign, but hopefully we'll come back. In the grey jersey is Sophia Pinelli. Coming back into shot now. There's Corinne Simpson just walking, just giving the camera a wave. Or in fact wasn't the camera, it was somebody bottom corner of the screen.
I haven't had any more updates on.
So we don't have any more score updates of yet. The score could very well have changed a lot since we last did one. But until we are told otherwise, that's what you've got. See there, bottom right of your screen, we've actually got somebody who's brought their own streaming equipment. That's one other thing that I've really liked with this game, is the fact that people are actually bringing their own gear to stream pool matches. Because obviously I do it myself, but you're now actually seeing quite a few people getting their phone out and going live on Facebook. And even on this occasion, if you see very bottom right of your screen, you can see a tripod being set up. There's people bringing their own tripods as well to get a better view of the table.
Yeah, we don't mind them streaming other tables as long as they don't stream the main one. You know, like they don't stream
Yeah.
what we're doing.
Although to be fair, ours is not live and theirs will be.
Yeah, but even so, if we're recording.
Yeah. I think we're just waiting for this round of games to finish before the second round gets put on. So it could be a wee wait just yet.
I'm just going to go and get another drink, John. If you need to, you know how to change names. What do you want? I'll get it.
Can you please just get me a pint of Coke Zero Sugar?
Yep.
Was going to have a whiskey, but unfortunately it is a school night for me. Won't be for most of these people though. Some of them will be back tomorrow. Some of them will have a day off from pool and be back here on Friday. Sounds like somebody from the south just won a game, because I see a lot of South Island supporters go nuts just then. But yeah, I do apologise in advance too if my knowledge of the players from the north is not that fantastic, and that is something that I want to change, because I know that to know players at this event, you really want to be knowing all of the players if you can, or at least the majority of them. And if they're good enough to be selected for the North Island team, then they should be good enough for me to actually know what their names are. So it's unfortunate that I don't actually know that many of them too well. You can see one of the South Island players there, Maxine Sol, just to the bottom right of your screen. I believe she's watching her teammate Corrine Simpson play. Played in the women's national snooker champs this weekend just gone. There's a few of these ladies actually played in that. Agnes, Denise, who ended up winning the event, of course. Hannah Wood, who is playing in this particular event, but not in this game. Gina Grimwood, who is here and playing in this. She's just to the left of centre. Lizzie Moses also played in the snooker, as well as playing in this event and in the North-South. In fact, if you go to Lee Hildred's Facebook page, you will not only get a lot of updates on this tournament, as he's been able to receive them, you will also have gotten some updates on the ladies' national snooker. So it's something that has been talked about quite a lot, is the fact that we we don't get a lot of results come in a good amount of time, so to speak. You tend to be waiting quite a while for full results, unfortunately. And a number of things have been put up as to what we can do about that. One of them, of course, is to use Q-score, which is very, very handy for events like the South Island Super League, as an example. We used Q-score quite successfully, and you could easily see what each player was doing, what the scores were, and so on. Whether or not it would work for an event like this, when you've got your section play and then you've got, of course, your post-section play as separate events rather than playing double life elimination like you were at the Super League, is whether we could actually make it work for this. I believe it can be done. I'm not a tech wizard by any means, but if anybody can actually get Q-score and update it to show section play results as well as your post-section results, is where people are really interested. But section play, people want to know how a certain player is doing. They can hopefully be able to check Q-score for that too. Now we do have another score update. You can see top right of your screen now, the North Island have opened up a 7-frame lead over the South. The game's just finished there between Cat and Sophia against the Glen Eden RSA opposition. Again, I don't unfortunately have names, but I know a lot of people who will watch this back will know who they are. There is a fairly large contingent here from Glen Eden RSA, which is fantastic. I mean, they must have all clubbed together and gotten rooms somewhere, or put in money, or even had the RSA itself fund part of the trip, which is really cool.
So we'll play the
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.
and put the mic back on.
So some of you would have seen that ads. Suck It Up are a major contributor to this particular tournament in terms of sponsorship. The tournament controller Tracy Andrew, her partner Glenn Thompson, works for Suck It Up, and or at least he, in some capacity, he's involved with them and knows quite a few of the people who do work for Suck It Up. So through him and through Tracy, we've managed to secure a fairly major sponsor. So well done to Suck It Up. But also want to shout out the other people who have made this possible. You'll see them just on the bottom of your screen there, and in fact I've got a piece of paper in front of me. So Fast Auto Glass, Liquorland Wairake Road, Bowie's Plumbing, Yanni Peterbread, Harcourt's Grenadier Beckenham, which is the sort of area that we're in now in Christchurch, Pete's Painting Services, Christchurch Accountancy, On Cue, Express Electric, Mag and Turbo, Express Towing, Angus Meats, Suck It Up, Liquorland Wairaki Road. Then you've got Suck It Up again. They've actually managed to they've sponsored 2 tables at this event. DJ Purdon Builders, so that's Darren Purdon. Anderton Decorating, Pete's Painting Services with a 2nd table. Asahi Beverages NZ, Gaming Machine Distributors, and of course the Kashmir Club. Now, they don't actually have a table, but they are still a sponsor of this event. You can count the control table as a table. I mean, I know we all do, because that's where so much of the important work is done.
Tracy doing a great job.
Tracy Andrew doing a magnificent job of this. Pardon me, you've got the Masters immediately after this. I say that, they start on Sunday, but Tracy will be putting in a 2nd shift for them.
Ronnie's doing all 10 days as ref.
And
Plus the other refs
Ronnie Simons is putting in 10 days as a referee for these 2 events as well. Never ever forget the refs for these. Tournament isn't as good if you don't have refs.
Nicole, Daryl, all the other refs.
And you've got Nicole Wright as well, doing a lot of refereeing. And then Kat McKenzie doing double duty as a player and a referee. And then Daryl Durden, also relatively new to the game as a ref. We've got some action now on our stream table. This player, I do know who she is. This is Crystalie Jane. C-R-Y as in the precious gem. Just get rid of the H. We're just getting the name at the moment, but yep. So we do actually have a fair bit of knowledge of, well, a reasonable amount of knowledge of Crystalie. Plays a lot on the 9-footers as well. See, she's got a Predator Q and a Predator glove. Loves her 9-ball as well as this game. She's well accomplished in both. Playing against Chantel Gray, so it'll be the first time I've actually seen her in action in any capacity, so we'd love to see actually what she brings to this game. And obviously good enough to be picked for the team, so must have a certain skill set. But I must say thank you to OnQ for bringing a stream service to this event. Look at this down the rail. I was about to say lovely, I thought that was gone. Turns out I was wrong yet again. But yeah, to OnQ for actually having a stream for this event. So many times you've got the ladies tournaments in particular, the big ones like this one, you don't actually get any stream, which is not fair, to be completely honest. You've got the opens streamed, why can't you have the ladies streamed? But obviously for reasons that hasn't been always possible, but this time thankfully we do have a stream. hopefully on Friday we will get our internet issues resolved and be able to do this live. It's just a bit of a shame that this is not able to be streamed live at the moment, but thankfully our issues are happening today and not on Friday. Hopefully by the time Friday rolls around, everything will be running sweet. Table's not that fast. Have been running relatively quickly from what I've seen. These are all relatively new tables, if not brand new tables. Generally you do for these events have new tables, or they're at least fully reclothed, so that the players get to play on as close to a pristine table as possible. And you can see one of the doyens of New Zealand snooker just to the bottom right of your screen there. I say snooker, actually, one of the doyens of New Zealand billiards.
Remember, they can't see him.
And Gary Oliver is in the room. Just looking on my other screen here, the one that you guys can't see. Of course, Corrine Simpson's partner, who'll be watching her intently. Interesting sort of shot that. The way the ball hopped off that rail there. Just all of the spin that was imparted onto it, just getting under the rail and sort of popping up. Well, that's a lovely shot though. She can play the 1 here and be on the 4.
Yeah.
Now, all she needs to do is screw and miss the 9 and she'll be fine here. Or even just top through and be on the 8. Either way was fine.
Gary will be looking to add to his billiard titles next week at New Zealand Champs next weekend.
New Zealand Billiard Champs next weekend, so Gary Oliver will be looking to add to his numerous New Zealand Billiards titles. Don't know how many he's got, but I know it's quite a lot. He is, from my memory, one of the winningest billiards players in the country.
Did Crystal Lady that?
Yep. So 1-0 Crystalie Jane. Early doors in this one. It sounds like the North Island just won a match or a frame there. I'm just flicking my eyes between the two screens here. I know you guys probably can't see everything, but I can. I tell you what, that's a good biff for nothing down. And immediately Crystalie on to the unders and getting that ball down the rail to start it. Partner Billy McIntyre also plays pole. Originally, I believe, from Stratford, but I think she plays for New Plymouth, if I'm not mistaken.
I know in the Piers she was representing Tauranga.
Representing Tauranga and the Piers. But I think from the Taranaki area, so I saw her play one other time and she was actually representing Stratford, but I think now basing herself in and around New Plymouth. Chantal Gray from, I believe, Kaiapoi, which is just north of Christchurch. Sort of major arterial town just north of Christchurch. For those of you not familiar with South Island geography, it needs to giddy up. Again, table's not that fast. Chantal will do well to leave that 9 where it is. She could very well play the 11 onto it. Try to double that by the look of it and couldn't quite fit it past the 3. Gets nicely on the 1. Whether the 7 goes or not will be interesting. If there's enough of a gap there for the 7 to squeeze off the jaw and then off the back of the 9. Looks like instead playing to try and leave it, so it definitely is on. See, Chantal could flick the edge of the 9 and try and bring the 10 and the 11 out here, but instead looking to play what she can see. Looking to play the plant now, so this is an interesting shot, or at least looking to kill the 7, which she's done very well. So that takes away the angle that Crystalie would have had to force that 7 in front of the 9. Now she can't do that with the 11 there. So Chantal's bought herself a bit of time here. So she can even play that plant now because there's no way to really promote that 7 for Crystalie if she gets back to the table. So playing the 9 doesn't incur much. You can do it and hopefully get better position than unfortunately what Chantal's managed here. She would have wanted to at least maybe be on the 10 or on the 13, but instead she's not on either ball, so having to dial long distance. Well, Crystalie, what she could do here if she sees the shot is to double the 4 towards the bottom left corner pocket. If she can leave it near that long rail, it's about to say somewhere between the 10 and the long rail, then she gets another shot when she comes back to the table at being able to bash all those free. And she's contacted the 10 first there, so that'll be a combo. These don't look like they're on dead for a plant, the 10 and the 7. But she's still going to go for it anyway because they could be made on, like she's done there. So she's removed the 7 from... So she removed the 7 from the equation, so now she's got an unfettered route to the finish, but she's made an absolute meal of that. Dear oh dear. All she really needed to do was pot that, and she was right on the dance floor. Oh, Crystalie just snuck it in. Used every bit of table that she could for that. But she's 2-0 ahead. Chantal will no doubt be kicking herself all the way back to her seat. Did the hard work. Got herself combo and then couldn't finish it. So 2-0 up, third frame. Crystalie with the advantage gets to break in this one, so she's gone and off, so immediately Chantal will get a chance to right a few wrongs here. Didn't do a hell of a lot wrong in the first frame. The second frame, unfortunately, botched a pretty good opportunity to win that. But this is a different frame. And it needs to giddy on up, and it does. Not a lot of balls to play for here. With the 15, she'll have to try and screw back out for the 13 here, and unless she wants to take the 13 now, which could be an attractive option to get on to the 12. Oh, jabbed at it. Again, if you're having issues with your queuing, now would be a good time to identify them and fix them. Tried to pick the 5 through the gap there. It did look like the shot was on too. That's the reason why Krista Lee walked away from the table the way she did, is because she knew the shot was on and just unable to find that gap. So that's fine there from Chantal. She hasn't really left Krista Lee anything from here. So inkling that the 7 cuts into the middle pocket. 2 doesn't look like it doubles, so then the 7 looks about the only ball that's remotely on from here. And I tell you what, had this table not napped as much as it did, saw that a few shots before when the nap actually denied players a pot. If it didn't have as much nap, that would have dropped. She's played that really well. She could have cut it in, but instead tried to use the ball that was there to divert it in, and didn't get a pot, but she has covered 2 of those really nicely. I don't believe the 6 is on, otherwise I think Krista Lee would have been very quickly down to play it. Appeared to be trying to move the 3 off that. Now the 6 does look on, and couldn't make it fit. $12 will go from here. 12 and the 11 are the hardest 2 balls on the table for Chantal. She's actually made both the 12 and the 13. I don't think she wanted them both though. Leave the 13 there and then you've got a good worker for what's down the top end of the table, but now you're kind of stuck here with not a hell of a lot to play for. Couldn't quite find the gap between the 15 and the 10, so that brings Krista Lee back to the table. And it does appear that the 7 will pass the 6. I was about to say she's cued that really well, but if anything that just straightened up slightly as it went past the 6. So I think she was kind of robbed there. Chantal just laying a ball up again. The 4 doesn't pass the 8, so that's not a bad option. So Krista Lee there looking to bring the 3 out, so that's one less hard ball that she has to play. Most likely play the 14 here. I wouldn't be tempted to play the cut on the 15 just yet. She's going to have to give this something if she wants to get a split. Imagine she'll just look to bring this out if she can, and ideally not hit the 8 or the 4, or try to hide the cue ball in behind them so that the 2's the only ball that's playable. So what Crystalia can do here is if she thins this 2, she can send the cue ball back down the middle line of the table so that Chantal doesn't have a shot on the 11. So she's tried to do it there, and she's probably overran it slightly, because if you over or underrun that shot, then there's a chance of a free ball. It definitely looks like a snooker from here, from the side view that you can't see. Oosh. So what a great effort that was. Probably would have liked to be further down table, but this is a fairly easy plant. And nicely on the 3, so that was actually more important than being on the 6, was making sure that she's on the 3 so that she can move the 3 out of the way, and that now the 5's got somewhere to go. Let's thin the 6 in. Slightly off angle here, so I'd say she'd be giving this some. Oh, well cued. A screw back or a bit of stun or punch to get it there. Now this for a 3-0 win. And indeed she does.
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Oh, for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Oh, for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.
So everything you've said in that short.
Yeah, it's probably a load of bollocks anyway. So we're just awaiting our next streamed match. I tell you what, Nicole will be happy to be out of her refereeing gear. That's Nicole pretty much bang centre of your screen there. Done a number of hard days reffing. She reffed during the Ladies South Islands and the Open, which were held on consecutive weeks. Finally gets to take the green refereeing shirt on and be a spectator. I'm just walking towards the bottom of your screen there is Shirley Boyce, who has done an amazing amount of work for Paul in the Canterbury region here. Wonderful lady. Her late partner Alan Cowan was also a force in Canterbury pole. Just left of middle, Katrina McLean, the tall lady wearing all black, and her partner for the pairs, Maxine Sol, walking to that table. Katrina represents Club Waimea. Waimea is a town just outside of Nelson. Nelson, of course, right at the top of the South Island, and a number of their players actually came down to play not just in this event, but also in the Ladies South Islands and the Open South Islands, which were held concurrently, or not concurrently, but one after the other. Somehow I feel I'm not getting the best view of this.
Have a big future Titan.
Keep trying. Keep trying. Are you actually going to do some commentary?
No. I can't commentate.
I'm sure you've tried.
I have tried poorly. Chris Lee beat Gina 3-0.
Jeez, okay.
The boss is back.
So we are going to get a bunch of names for you. Well, I know two of them at least, but I can't figure out the other two, so hopefully somebody else is going to help me out with that. But would you believe it, with all that noise that the North Island players and spectators were making, there's only 4 frames in it. So it's great to see it get close. You know, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I loved seeing a close match. Just thumbing through the team list to see who's actually playing in this game. That's a filthy break. Yeah, Shirley, I'll just walk away to the other side of the room after that. One L, 2 E's.
It'll be a tough pairing to beat them too, Sheldon and Corinne.
Yeah, I mean, Richie was just saying off air that Shirley Boyce and Corinne Simpson will be a tough pair to beat. Wouldn't exactly disagree with him. Just saying, of course, I've seen them both play and they're forced to be reckoned with individually, but now we get to see them play as a pair. Still trying to work out who the northern pairing are, but we do know that they're from the Glen Eden RSA. Tell you what, she's actually made a really good effort at that. Would have been a legal shot because it was one continuous queuing motion. Because push shots are allowed in this game, but if the cue ball is seen to contact the object, if the cue is seen to contact the cue ball more than once, it's a foul. But if it's one continuous fluid stroke, then it's generally fine. Obviously in other sports, of course, you can't play a push shot. You see Corrine at the table now. Pretty hard to miss with the dreads. Got a lovely set of dreads on her. I was talking before about her partner Gary Oliver and how he's looking to add another billiards title to his already impressive lot of achievements.
I don't know who they are.
I'm going to find out for you.
Yeah, if you could. Thanks, Richie.
We're still trying to find out who. Well, I know who she is, just coming into your shot now. That's Gayleen Bullmore All.
Okay,
So that certainly helps, because then we can find out who she's playing with.
Shannon. That's Gayleen. And that's Shannon.
Okay. I do remember a last name as well. Ortano, I believe it was. So Shannon Ortano and Gayleen Bullmore All for the Peers for the North. Oh dear. Right underneath it. Leaving the cube all the way down table though, so this is not exactly an easy shot for Shannon. I'm going to take the one down the rail though, which I really like the option, even though she's ended up nowhere with it. I do like what she was doing, because what she's done there is she's gotten rid of a hard ball first.
Shannon and Gayleen.
Yeah.
Yeah, we managed to nut it out by ourselves.
Thanks anyway, Richie.
That's all right.
So Richie was trying to act as a gopher there for players, but the surfaces were not required, as it were. How's your back feeling?
Yeah, it's a bit better. Yeah.
Oh, well played. Didn't get a pot, but should be happy with where that sat. It does appear that both of these balls go, and she was looking at the 9 first, but now she's switched to the 14. Ostensibly to try and remove the 15 from the jail that it was in. This is going to be an awkward shot though if she's playing the 9. I'll get to see if she's good at having to bridge over a ball, and it looks like she is, but she's ended up slightly unlucky with getting big mitt full of the 5. If she'd gotten a piece of it rather than the whole ball, she could well have been on something there. But I absolutely love Gayleen. She's so cool though. Absolutely lovely lady. Met her at Levin. Well, I'd known her before then, mind. But as soon as I saw her at Levin, she gave me a massive hug. So happy to see me when I was there, and I was really happy to see her in return. But I don't think the smile ever left her face the whole time we were there. It's exactly what you want. Definitely be taking the one here. I think Richie's trying not to pull his hair out.
Yeah.
Because Richie's just watching this and he's staring daggers at the one and hoping that Shirley can pick up on it.
33-30.
Another score update coming your way. And wouldn't you know it, we're down to a 2-frame game.
Three.
3-frame game. I temporarily forgot how to math. But North Island had as much as a 7-frame lead, I think it was at one point. But now that's been trimmed to 3. I think many people would have picked the North Island to win this quite comfortably, but with the amount of talent that they've got on their side, nothing is ever a done deal though. Sometimes enviable of the calibre of players that the North Island always bring to these events, whether it be a ladies or an open event. They always seem to bring some real A-class players to these. They just seem to have so many to choose from as well. I mean, there's probably as many players who couldn't be here as ones who could be, and yet they've still got such a good contingent. This is going to be a crowd pleaser. I'm just listening to the music. Push It by Salt and Pepper's playing if you want to know. Pretty sure there'll be some dancing as well. Might even get to see it on the camera. Maybe Shannon will give us a dance if she gets to the table. I wanted to get a little bit better on the 13 there. And she could play it now. If she's really good at fine cuts, and she could give this a hoy and try and get it in front of the 1 and the 5. I know I certainly would, but that's just because I'm good at the shot. Oh. No, she definitely would. Dang it. Dang it. Don't mind the in off, that's not your main concern.
What's she doing? Combo.
It's interesting, it's actually a combo and not a free ball. You see, Corinne's probably just gone and told her that it's a combo because she potted one of ours, Shirley. You only saw the second half of that. I don't think Galen ever actually intended to do it, but the way that she actually walked to where the cue ball had gone down and actually met Shirley at that end of the table to give the impression that it was a free ball and not a combo. And I don't think there was ever any intention there, but it just so happened to be. I'm sure somebody would have said something, surely, if she was about to cue that up. I was about to say it was the tougher of the two shots, and probably the right shot of the two, because she was always going to get on the 1 if she potted that, as opposed to playing the 1 and not guaranteed to be on the 5. Could go middle or corner here. Oh, middle and pumped. Look at this. Oh, the jaw got in the way. Get out of it. If that hadn't hit the jaw, that would have been beautiful. I think she's pretty much bang on for a double though.
Two, yep. Triple off the orange.
Richie's just packed out that there's a possibility of a triple off the 1 or the 5 here. I just wonder if that's the shot she's looking at. You see her just sort of wave her yeah, she's playing inside the line of the double by the look of it. No, she did play the double, and what a shot. So good it's even moved the camera table. Yeah, I actually genuinely thought she was playing inside the double line, i.e. for a triple, but no, readjusted, slammed it in. I think Galen will be saying, I think, whichever deity she's got a partner.
We've got another North-South next week, next Wednesday night as well.
So just switch views back to our main view now. And Shannon, after having won the previous frame, gets to break this one. And what a great break it is too. Not just the fact that she made a ball off the break and got a good split, but also the fact that she controlled the cue ball so well there. Right in the middle of the table, just where you want it. Immediately points a finger skywards to indicate that she wants the overs. First I've actually seen of Shannon play, and from what I can see, I actually like the look of it. Didn't like that as much, but she at least got a cover. But from what she's actually shown us so far, especially those last 2 balls in the first frame, slam the ball in the middle pocket and then the double to win the frame, certainly shows that she's got a lot of bottle. Now Corrine just having a look at what she's got here. I think Cheryl Lee was trying to divert her towards the 6 and the 4 here. It'd probably be worth a while to move one of those, to be completely fair, because I mean the black's covered by the 1. It will go in the other corner pocket, but the black's covered by the 1. The 9 is difficult where it is, so that'll be the hard ball of the bunch. If she can move one or both of these balls so that it slides past the 12, or even just get them out of there like she has done. She's unfortunately remarried the 6 up, but getting the 4 out has now actually given them a chance. Was that they were no good where they were, because Galen and Shannon could just leave that 12 there as long as they wanted to. But now it's got no real value being there. No good on the pot, but good cue ball though. think the only shot really that Shirley's got is the 2 into the middle, which is not easy. That sort of angle, whether you're looking at a side view or a front view, can actually give you the side view of it. It looks more daunting from the side than it does from the front. I can assure you that the 2 does cut in the middle, but I don't think she's that confident of playing it. She's moved off to something else. Just trying to move that 5 away from the 9, and because of course the 6 and the 14 are stuck there, then that gives her more of a license to move the 5, whereas with the 14 being open before, you wouldn't want to do that, because then you pop the 9 and the rest of the balls are all on, or just about off the back of the 13. Would have been ideal, that. Let's look to see what Corrine does with this. If she tries to stay in this half of the table, or whether she can pot this and draw back for the 3 or the 2. I'm just looking at how she's going to work that 6, because that's going to be the biggest problem for them if they ever get to it. Get a few of these and then worry about the 6. I think she wanted to go past that and be on the 1, but she's rather made a mess of it. 3 looks like it might be visible but not potable, so she may instead have to play the 4 here, or even the 1 if she can see the edge of it. She's just elected to play the 1. Yeah, Shannon makes a good point there. She's talking to Gayleen about playing that 9 down the rail, because it should, if she gets the line right, it should click off either the 10 or the 13. If she does that, then she actually gives it a chance to not just drop, but to make the 10 and the 13 more available. Instead she went for the middle pocket, which was quite interesting. She has made it more on though, and that when your opponent's still got balls that are tied up, as the 6 is important. Oh, I was about to say there's always a chance of that. I'd like to see what Shannon can do with this. Looks like the Glen Eden players have got their nicknames on their shirts, so Shannon's looks to be Silky, which you can see just top left of the shirt on the front. Looks like she's going to play the 9 first. Which is interesting. I would have expected to possibly bring the 14 out, or play a different ball, try and get on into the 14. Now, ideally you'd want to leave the 12 where it is to do that, so you'd play something else and try and get onto the 14 that way. That tried its best to go in. It looked like it missed by some distance, but it actually looked like it was napping in. Corrine, if she really wants to, can try and power this in and release the 6 and the 14 away from each other. But perhaps not surprisingly, she's not elected to go for it. I just wonder if the 6 goes off the 15 here. Oh, I'd say it almost definitely does. If not from here, then if she can screw the cue ball back past where it is, kind of another 150, 200 mil, roughly where her bridge is. Well, even there might be okay. If she can hit this straight and go off the edge of the 15, then it'll still be a fair shot. She's just going to have to give it some top though, or more speed, or more speed. I think she's going to walk away with a laugh and a smile, but inside she's going to be absolutely hating it. So drops the plant. Cue ball and the 13 aren't right next to each other, or rather touching each other, so this shot is fine. Just needs to control where she goes with it. She's done well. There, as you can see in a switch view here, that the 15 and the 6 are not glued to each other, so you can pot this and not worry about the 6. She's going to worry about the cue ball though. That needs to stop. Or has she jawed herself? She might well have jaw snookered herself here. Quite possibly the 12 is on though. So maybe she's okay. No, she's okay. But she's got no position on the 14. It does look like it doubles though. Switch to here. If you can draw a line just to the right of the black there, then the double does look like it's on. It's just trying to sit it in front of the black, and I think she's partially done it. But this is still a lot of pressure for Shirley now coming to the table. She knows that the middle, it naps quite heavily into the middle pocket, so probably be better off playing one of these long ones first. But she's just been nowhere near it with her long pots. So now Shannon to the table. Probably the best thing that Shirley could hope for there is that she's actually fully snookered Shannon here. Then Shannon obviously can take something as a free ball, but she'll have to pot an extra ball to get onto the 14. So she's nominated the 2, which would come as a surprise to absolutely no one. Either the 2 or the 3. If you pot that, you should get on the 14, but you've got to be careful you don't sit behind the 8. Because you've really got to give this some power. It's similar to the shot that she played in the first frame on her last ball. How she gave that some power and really got it to play off the short rail. So I think she's going to have to do that again here. Oh, she soft rolled it and she's still got a good result. And here I was thinking she might have to go top rail and back out, but no, she's cued that very nicely. Oh, hello. She would have done a good job to actually check if that was on first. I don't think this was on for the middle pocket. I don't think it goes in the middle. It might actually nap into the middle pocket, you know. I've seen some balls hard nap into these middles on this table, so if she aims for as much of that far draw as she can hit and plays it slowly, then she could very well nap this in. Alternatively, she could go for the top pocket where she doesn't have to worry about the table so much. Still trying to see what she's doing here. Need to switch. Just trying to get an idea of what pocket she's going for. Middle. Oh, lovely shot. It wasn't as hard as we thought. Either that or Shannon just made it easier than it was. Gotta love the celebration though. Obviously it won't quite be as animated in singles, but whilst you've got the opportunity to do so, why not? So 2-0 to Shannon and Gayleen representing the North. Streaming table has not been kind to the South Island tonight. I've not seen a single frame won by a Southern player or pair. Let's see if Shirley Boyce can change that stat. By how close the game is, you'd have to think that it's an absolute must that she can get this frame and at least get something. And there's something to start. Got the option of overs or unders here, in terms of the fact that there's one of each set open. Probably the easier ball of the two to play from there would be the 4, because it offers more opportunities in terms of position after the fact. Because playing the 14, you could very well end up stuck behind the 8 or the 6. But playing the 4, the cue ball should spit out past the 14 and end up on something else, probably the 2. She's having to use the the tall rest here. Oh, she's actually caught a big piece of the 14 there. She's gotten unlucky there. She might have to bring that rest back out. Don't think she can see the 7 though. Well, she's thinking about it. If there's a little gap between the 8 and the 7, then the 7 might very well be on. Oh, it was on, and she potted it. What a fantastic shot that was. Wouldn't have thought she'd had a snowball's chance in hell there. I didn't even think she could see enough of it. If that doesn't energise her. Out for for the 6. Probably rather play the 3 if she could. Play the 3, she's going to have to dig into it and try and keep the cue ball from going further down table. Oh dear, that's the other reason why she wanted to dig into it. Because there's a big fat in off in case she doesn't. Shannon should be no stranger to pressure situations. Don't tell me she's taking the 5 as a free ball and playing the 10 onto it. Well, she is, you know. Oh, no. Have to give her credit for going for the shot. And I suppose if she had got it, then the rest of them were at her mercy. Didn't agree with it, though. In terms of the right shot, it probably wasn't. Had other options that she could use to remove the 10 from there. Again, though, you've got to give her props for giving it a try. Oh dear, don't go over there. There'll be an elephant graveyard there. Had to hit that really thin and try and come back towards the 8 and the 6 to have a chance at that. Ooh, just about billy it off the 15. Maybe learning a little something off her partner Gary there. Oh, clever. Clever shot by Gayleen. This does cut, but it's very, very tricky. I don't think that Shirley will even consider taking the cut on, you know. Could double into the corner here, top left of your screen. No, she's looking to just play it out. If the 15 is not viewed as too difficult here, I'd say Shannon has a go for it. Could of course try to bridge over it, play the 10 first, which would probably be the more positive shot of the two, but if she does play the 15 and pots it, then she should be on something, and these should all be on for a finish. The amount of gumption that she played with that she showed with the last shot that she played, though, it wouldn't surprise me at all if she did play to bridge over the 15 to play the 10. I think we're just waiting for her to come back. She must have gone to the toilet, but I just wonder if Gayleen might have a word in her ear and try to convince her one way or the other here. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if she goes to bridge over this to play the 10. He's just trying to steel herself for it. There, here we go. Oh, undercut it. And free ball incoming. will be Kareen to take the shot. Be pretty simple, I'd imagine. Just pot the 15, make sure you're out off the rail for the 6. Even better if you've got a wee angle here, you can just come off the rail and get closer to the 6 so it's easier. If not, then just play a screw shot. Ideally, she doesn't want to touch the black here with the cue ball on the way through. If she can pot this and miss the 8, then she'll be nicely on it, on the 8.
43, John.
Just received another score update, 44-43 now
To the north.
to the north. Look at this drop. This could be a massive frame if Kareen can put this black away. Going on what has happened. I did say every frame was important. None more so than the one that you can sneak at the end. If you're 2-0 down, if you can sneak a frame, use the rest. Thank you. I'll put that score up soon. Down she goes, so managed to scalp the last frame.
46, 44.
And now it's time for Kareen to do a happy dance. So if we're counting that game in the score, it's 46-44 to the north at the moment. So there you go. Just awaiting our next game to go on the streaming table. Don't think anybody will mind the fact that it's 10:23 in the evening.
Georgia, don't they?
It's a time for drinking, it's a time for playing pool. Just imagine if we get to see somebody like Jojo Coleman playing on the stream table. She's actually playing at the moment, so we won't get to see her just yet. So there's your room view once again. I'll just step out for a moment, but I'll be back very soon. Rightio then, still waiting for a streaming game. What I am just as interested in is what scores are, because I'm pretty sure those are not the full and correct scores that you see on the screen. It's showing us as having a difference of 2 frames. North Island currently holding a slender lead, but again we don't actually know whether those scores have been fully updated, so hopefully somebody is going to message me through with more updated scores. So yeah, everybody's having a bit of fun too. So imagine as a bit of the alcohol comes out, you see a lot more self-expression. You see that at all pool tournaments, so. Looks like Claire Shanaher might have just won a frame, or at least Kat McKenzie and Sophia Pinelli, just top right of your screen there. Which will be massive for the South. If the scores are as tight as they are, then every single frame won becomes magnified. Not entirely sure who that is with Nicole, but they've obviously made fairly fast friends. Which again is one of the biggest virtues of these pool tournaments, is that you get to make friends at them, whether of course they've met each other before or whether that's the first time they've actually ever really seen each other and form a fairly quick friendship. I mean, Nicole probably more so as a referee than as a player, but in any circumstance, the referees get a lot of respect as well, and it's good to see them actually get more than they ever used to. I mean, people are now more likely to actually call referees out in their speeches to say thank you for what you do for the game, because of course these people don't get paid for what they do. It's purely on a voluntary basis. So the compensation they get is basically one of what they do to improve the game, not so much in terms of getting paid for it. And it's a fair bit of time that it takes to actually to referee. It takes a lot out of you. I was speaking to Nicole after the South Islands. She's doing both the ladies and the open, and just the amount of time she's on her feet every one of those days that she referees, because she told me that she goes to work as normal during her working days and then goes straight from work to the Richmond club, as it was, to referee. So for that amount of time she had very little time to herself. She was always either working or refereeing and not much in between. That just shows you how much she gives back to the game, and obviously how much passion she has for refereeing, and my hat goes off to her, as it does to all the referees in this tournament. To the north, I'm betting. Is there another game to be?
There's 11 games in total, including the ones that are out.
So there you see your latest score update. The North have actually pulled away to a fairly large lead now. There's 11 frames in it. It was 2 just before.
There was 1 frame in it, apparently, according to Tracy, at one stage.
And even at one stage, there was only a single frame in it. So the North have been able to open up a fairly sizable lead from that.
And
It looks like we've got Gayleen and Shannon up again on the streaming table, unless they're walking past it.
I passed it.
No, they're playing on table 14 by the look of it. Table 15, by the way, is the streaming table.
And we'll take a quick ad break.
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.
So I am around, but I thought that way if something goes wrong, you can scream out.
Yeah.
Yep, you're live.
So there is at least one more game to go on the streaming table. There are, including the games that are being played at the moment, 11 games to go in this entire North versus South battle. So there are still opportunities for the South to come back and close that deficit. The North have done a very commendable job of being able to get that lead up to where it is now. Did say a little earlier on that just with the amount of talent that the North have actually been able to bring to this event, even though this is being played in the South Island, that they were going to definitely be a force to be reckoned with, and so it's proven here. It's got a fair amount of talent to choose from, even if not all of their players are able to make it here to play. Just awaiting the announcement for the next game to go on the streaming table. But I do see Tony Blair making a move. It's to the right of the screen. It looks like Victoria Heavey next to her. Now, I do know who Victoria is, by the way. As I've said before, I don't know who a lot of these North Island ladies are, and that's, again, something that I do regret. But Victoria represents, I believe, Gleneden RSA, and she actually does a fair bit of streaming herself on her phone, so especially for the northern area, she's got some activity on the northern area page, and she does a bit of streaming off her phone and is active in the game of pool in that regard, as well as obviously being a player as well. Just trying to listen out to what's being said as well, because I can hear a few of the conversations that are happening, and obviously they'd have to be a fair bit louder, but then players talking to each other as they're playing, you can actually you can actually hear some of it. You see Larissa Devine having a bit of fun with Victoria there on the right of your screen. I think she's just completely distracted Victoria with what she was wanting to do there. So again, just to give you some names of amazing businesses and sponsors that we've got to help hold this tournament up. Fast Auto Glass, Liquorland Wairake Road, Bowie's Plumbing, Yanni Peterbread, Harcourt's Grenadier Beckenham, Pete's Painting Services, Christchurch Accountancy, On Q, Express Electric, Mag and Turbo, Express Towing, Angus Meats, Suck It Up, Liquorland Wairake Road again, so they've got two tables, as do Suck It Up, DJ Purdon Builders, Anderton Decorating, Pete's Painting Services, who also have sponsored two tables, Asahi Beverages New Zealand, Gaming Machine Distributors, and of course this wonderful venue, the Kashmir Club, which is also where the Masters will be played next week, and also the Open Nationals in October, so there's a fair bit of pool happening in this area. Of course, had the South Islands at Richmond, which is another club within Christchurch. the South Island in general, we've had a fair bit of actual pool being played. Been a massive year for pool in Christchurch. She's had so many events. You've also got the Super League Nationals being played at Richmond, as well as the Trans-Tasman Test match at the very same venue. So there's no wonder there's been a bit of excitement when it comes to pool here in Christchurch. You see, Crystalie Jane's been successful on the claw bending machine again. Well, she was carrying around a massive Pikachu before. I wonder if she managed to win that out of the machine, or whether she was able to trade something for it. Because I know with some of those claw machines, especially in arcades, you can trade a number of smaller toys for a big one. Or if you win tokens, then you can trade so many tokens for a larger toy or a larger prize. Well, it looks like she's winning them for her friends too. Oh, we've got some action. We've got some action on the streaming table. Just cut to that now. Just see if I can get some actual names as well for the North Island players. And so Katrina now to the table, selecting, by the look of it, the overs. Now, I see that she's switched to playing with a 9-ball cue. Now, she does have the ability to play with an 8-ball cue and a 9-ball cue, much like her partner Chris Bowman does. Chris almost seemingly switches in and out of his 9-ball cue at will, which is quite an achievement, that, to be able to switch cues in between games, or even during the same frame. Oh, get out of there. I think that's Marie, so we can try to extrapolate who her partner is just based on that. We're just looking at what she's got here. Short answer, not a lot. Doesn't look like the 3 goes into the middle, but you do have... Just play the 1 away from this. It wasn't on, but she could at least release something, and there's a good cue ball there, actually. She's not left Katrina anything easy. See, there is a double there on the 13, but that's about it. And thankfully for oh, look at this. She'll take that. She might have actually been playing for it. Just trying to gauge by her body language whether she was actually attempting that or not, but she stayed relatively neutral, so I'm pretty sure she was. It's an interesting sort of bridge, that. You could see how she bridged with her little finger and her index finger touching the table instead of the usual bridge, which is to have your four fingers on the table. So every finger bar your thumb normally is what contacts the table when you bridge. But Katrina there using a different bridge with just 2 fingers touching. But it looks like these 2 players represent... Well, they're from Hamilton, because that's where McSwiggan's Irish bar is. That's one of their jerseys. If we get a first look at Maxine Soul. Used to play for Ashburton and then for Richmond and now for Hornby. Oh, she's touched the 8 there with something, but that's not going to be the problem. The fact that she's actually potted the 2 means it's a combo. Well, I just wonder if she actually noticed that the 2 went down. I was asking about what kind of foul it is. It's a combo because she potted the opponent's ball. Shot here because you've got a combo, you can take the 7 and then have the white on the angle so that it breaks the 12 and the 5 up. So if you have the cue ball pretty much smack in the middle of the table with just enough angle on the 7, then that should propel the cue ball towards the 12 and break it away from the 5. I'm just wondering if she'll notice that though. First of all, she's not got to realise that she's got a combo and that she can nominate one of her opponent's balls as a free ball, and then to use that to get a split on the 12. It looks like she's actually, well, she's clued into something at least, but I'm not too sure what she's trying to do here. And only now am I actually realising that I'm the idiot and that they're on the unders. She's not going to be happy with where that 3's ended up. That's alright. That's wound up good. There is a double here on the 12 if she really wants to. Well, it looks like she really wants to. Let's find out. Oh, she brought it out. A little laugh as well after she played the shot.
63-54, 8 results to go.
So score update, which will be posted on your screen. 63-54 to the north. There are 8 results to come in. So the north hold a 9-frame advantage, but this is still anyone's game. Oh, that's a great shot. It was not easy from where it was, having to bridge over the ball and cut it.
It must be 9, because there's one table through.
Tiny nudge on the 7 would have been great, but it looks like it still falls. Or it still goes past. Oh dear. Just got the line wrong by a couple of mil. And it's all it needed to be. Should just be a screw back here, but it looks like she's going to play through it instead. You would imagine that Maxine would know about this shot. Sometimes with the ladies players, the knowledge of cue ball movement isn't as pronounced as it is with the men, but obviously the top ladies know how to manipulate the cue ball just as well. It looks like she's switching to the 13. Slot it in, run the angles. She should be fine here, and in fact that'll do just nicely. There you go, thank you. That's 12 in nicely on the 8, so big chance here to go 1-0 up, and for once for the South actually start a match in pole position. And there she does it. So 1-0 Katrina Maxine over Marie and Raywin. See Katrina racking the balls for her partner. Sometimes as you play pairs you want to rack them yourself, and other times you ask your partner to do it for you just to speed it up. Successful break, so it must work. I tell you what, Maxine's actually done a pretty good job of being able to play through that, because there was an awful lot of noise just before she played the shot. So still an open table. So I believe it's Raywin at the table now.
60-63. To them.
So another score update. 63-60 now to the north.
Gina Gimwood won 3-0 with Silver.
So she's tightened right up, boys and girls. I suppose it's your sphincters that are going to be clenched now as we go towards the last few games to decide who takes it.
They're all out there. All the games being played.
Every single game is being played at the moment, so once they are all finished we will have a winner, and it will happen soon, so keep your eyes peeled.
Just go on the streaming. We won the lap.
Yeah.
This is tough game as well.
Oh, great leave. No pot, but that will matter not. Should be happy at the fact that she's got a pocket covered, because look at the overs. Most of them actually look quite good, and the 10 now a problem as well as the 9.
It's not easy.
She's actually managed to hoof the 10 out there. I don't think she was trying to, but she'll take it. Overcut the 15 by some distance, but quite possibly managed a result out of it. Oh, too much drift. And this gives Maxine a chance here. Play the 15 off the 4 now. The chance now becomes there. You get a better view of it there. You've actually, if you get a fair chunk of the 4, this goes just like that. Just now the issues with the 9 being there. This is a pretty big cut on the 14. Oh, beautiful.
Sherry Queen just won.
I've just heard from Richie Whitty that Shirley and Corrine for the South Island have just won their match, so
I don't know if it's 2 or 3 now.
So quite possibly that score's been tightened up even more. Oh, cue ball, look out. Hindsight's always a marvellous thing, isn't it? She knows she would have been looking at that with some regret too afterwards. Just so often, because you know that there's always something little you could have done. Pretty sure that she'd be doing well here to leave the 9 where it is. Play something else. Sorry, the 6 where it is. Play something else. And the 7's an obvious ball, but the 1 was also a possibility to perhaps get onto the 3 for a plant. But she's gone back to the 7 here. Looks like for a cut in the middle.
64, 62.
So I'm just going to update the score again because I'm getting more frequent scores now. 64, 62 currently to the north. So we're back to 2 frames. And what a time for it to be back to 2 frames. Katrina doesn't have an angle by the look of it on the 13, but she could very well snick it in off the 7 here. She needs to hit a fairly big part of the 7 though for that to drop. Oh, she tried to cut it in the corner. Don't know about that. She has actually put the black safe though, as you can see, so maybe that will help. Now this is a big chance for Marie and Raywin to square us up. Good control of the first shot. She kept the cue ball nice and close to the 1. I just wonder if she'll may look to use the 3 to get the black out. I know it seems quite obvious to a lot of people that that's a shot you can at least attempt, but it isn't always so. Drops the 3. Looks like it's going to be a double here on the black. I don't see a realistic chance at getting the black away from here. At least I wouldn't think so anyway. Oh, cue ball, look out. Oh, she's done it too. Right down the short rail and in. So now what can Maxine do with this? You get the 13, get back towards the 10. Even looking at playing the 10 now. Tell you what, this is really ballsy. So if she doesn't get it, then she leaves a free ball. But she has got it, and now she's got the angle on the 13 for the 9. I think she's just having a think about where exactly she wants the cue ball here. Ideally want it further down up table than not, but she's missed the pot. Will still be a free ball. Now, the fact that she's left the 13 close to the pocket might help. Because one good shot though, and the black's down and the frame's over, but she's put a bit of pressure on this shot by leaving the ball near the hole. This angle might actually tell you better whether or not that black is on by itself, and it certainly looks like it might very well be. She may not need to use the 9 here. She has done though. She's left it on. She's left the 9 on, and Katrina to the table now. Now which way do you go? Some people would take the 13 first, and so you've got your last 2 balls down the same end of the table. Looking like it's 13 first.
I'd go 9. What do you use, John?
Probably 9 just for the ease of killing. Oh, she's done well. She's done really well, and she's got the angle too.
Oh, she nailed that. Perfect.
That was absolutely strapped.
Oh,
Bang, and she goes.
wow, she played that well.
So now just this to go 2-0 up.
Right out, and then Janet's got a frame over here.
So 2-0 Katrina Maxine over Marie and Raywin. So again, this becomes so important, this last frame. Doesn't matter whether what your score is, this nab this last one.
So we've got Louise Kerr, we've got Kirsten Mewer, Tony Blair, Aileen and Liz playing pairs. We've got Maxine, we've got Janet down here. Oh, playing well. Janet's playing well.
Out of her skin almost. So here we go. Nothing off the break. There's a bit of a ratty one though, not much separation between the balls at the triangle end of the table.
Janet's 2 up.
Oh. Well played. Didn't try to overhit it, just played it with enough strength to break those 2 balls up. You're better off to take the 12 than the 14 in this occasion because you're naturally coming out more towards the centre of the table. Oh, it wouldn't fall though. Still staring at it in disbelief. She almost has to be pried away from the table. How have you got? What have you got to play the 4 and try and split a few of these up? Do this, get a few split up and really get you going here.
This is so close.
She's actually looking at possibly the 2 as well, but you've got to be thinking that she'd be taking the 4 here. Play the 4 and try and split some of these up. She's not actually played it to try and smack them up though, she played it more as a control type shot. If anything, she's actually made it more ugly. But this is going to be quite a difficult shot for Katrina, and I know she's tall and I know she's got long fingers, but that's a lot of balls to bridge over. Yeah, she might have to use the jigger here, you know. If she can't get her bridge in between the 10 and the 7, then she's going to need the jigger.
Oh, what a shot.
She's actually done really well from there, because that was a difficult poke from having basically no bridge.
Carefully, I jumped through. Oh. Come on, Johnny.
Oh, that's not great. Don't think she wanted to hit the 11 there. She was wanting to push the 15 somewhere near that pocket, but she's ended up putting the 5 over the hole, and quite possibly this will be a free ball as well. If there's any chance to pot the 1 here, surely you'd be taking it. And you can call the 10 as a free ball here, so you might as well have a go at the 1 here. I actually think the 1 might be on, but she's not looking at it. She's playing the plant instead. I just wonder if Maxine will try and get this 11 out of here, or just maybe try and pot the 14, pot the 9, and then look at the 11. Oh dear, that's ended up miles away. Got a couple of options here. You can run the 4 onto the 5, or put the 3 onto the 5. In either or. Oh, she's gone 4 onto the 5. The 3 will pass the 4. Not too sure what that announcement was, but it got the crowd excited. Oh, she's ground into the 4. Here's a chance for Katrina to play the 11 now.
What did up there? She's taking a 4.
We're going to get a score update very, very soon here. Got it. I think she wanted to catch the 14 as well, but she's nicely on the 9 though.
65, 64.
Now on to 14. Nothing really else going, so has to be the 14.
65, 64. John?
To the north.
To the north, and Janet is tuning up to the south. Crossing the stream to the left. Down to these.
So there's your updated score with the games that have been finished. There's just a single frame in it, folks. Just a single frame.
Janet's 2-0 and the stream's 2-0, yeah?
And from what I'm hearing from Richie, as well as this game being 2-0 to Katrina and Maxine from the south, Janet McGrath's also 2-0 up for the south. So we could very well see a lead change coming up. Oh, well played.
Come on, Janet.
Looks like it's going to be a plant here, but I tell you what, she's done a good job of this so far. Oh, she needed to give it some. She just didn't quite read the speed of that.
Who was close?
I tell you what, Maxine's going to have to load up on this if she wants to get back down this end of the table, if she's looking at the 14 first. It's just whether she can pop this ball and really get work on the cue ball here. Oh, she got enough to get on the 15. She got enough to get on the 15 here. Or even if she can see enough of the 10, there might be a wee opportunity there. If I were Maxine, I'd be playing the 15 here and trying to at least leave it near the pocket. Oh, she's gone for the double. I tell you what, it could work. It could work. It's a big chance because she's left the possibility for a finish here, but the 7 and the 4 are nasty where they are. They're difficult to manipulate. The 15, if anything, makes it slightly easier, but you can see the two balls, how they're oriented with respect to each other. They're not on for a plant, and the angle is difficult for the 7 to actually play onto the 4 to pot it. I just wonder if that 15 there might make the job a little easier. Oh, that's a terrible cue ball though. Jeez, it hasn't gone well for her at all. I think she's actually killed the 2 on the 10 as well, so she can't even cut the 2 onto the 7. If the 2 and the 10 are separated, even by just a hair's breadth, then that cut becomes on. And here comes the other option here, coming off the side rail. She's going to have to give this some though. Make sure she gives it some speed. Just try and involve a bit of collision here. What did I say? Give it some speed. But as I said before, the 10's nasty. The 10's really nasty here, so Katrina could very well, if she could play this and somehow move the 2. It is possible. I don't think the 15 and the 4 are actually touching. If they're touching, then I don't think the shot's on, but if they're not touching, then she can cut the 15 in and try and either screw or come off the rail into the 2. But either way she plays it, she's got to... Maybe she's even asking for a free ball here. The one to ask for here is obviously on the 10. If it is a free ball, it changes everything. Because then there's a possibility that she can call the 4 as a free ball and get the split that way. Or she could even play the 8 and leave it for a plant.
Tell you what, we've taken the lead, eh?
Still waiting for... In fact, Murray's going to have a look at this. That's how close this is. It doesn't have his staples or his tools on him, so he'll have to use another ball to determine whether
You got Nicole's
it's past the 90 or not.
Nicole's got it too.
So Nicole's still here, and by the sound of it, she's still got her refereeing tools.
No, she's giving up.
So it looks like the call was no free ball. Yeah, and that's yuck.
Yeah,
She's going to have to find a bit of side here, and she can't. Needed to play that with a little bit of left to square the cue ball up to hit the 10, but it's a combo to Marie and Raywin here. How massive would this frame be if they managed to achieve it? So much riding on this. They need to be careful with how they pack.
Northman's on quiet, John. Come on. Oh. Louise.
I tell you what, I'm just watching Louise out of
Louise Kerr, she's on the black.
Louise Kerr on the black, and she's had to stand up and get back down on it.
At least one frame up. She's at least got one frame.
Jad did it. Oh, are you kidding? She fluked the black. None of you can see this, but we can from where we are.
68, 67 to the south.
Was it?
68, 67 south.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it.
And then Louise got 2 frames there.
So we've got another score update. And for the very first time, I believe, the South Island actually have the lead.
Just doing a charger.
This is a big shot, and she's overcut it by a long way. But in overcutting it by a long way, she's actually left Maxine a nasty shot here. Does she try to fine cut this into the corner? Or does she play for the double in the mid? It looks like it's the double. Needs to watch the cue ball again though. She's had a few occasions where she's gone and off, so this is definitely one where she needs to watch where her cue ball goes.
Good up there.
No. Run straight into the black.
71-67 south.
Is that shit?
Tracy just sent you through.
Thanks, Richie.
With 2
So
frames.
Tracy.
2 games going.
So Tracy's just sent us another score update. The South are now 4 frames ahead. Oh, it does fall. It's just waiting for a moment.
Oh, they can't. North can't win.
Yeah, the double. Yeah, just a double on the black.
This would be 72, 73, 68. Worst case. Oh, they can't.
I'm just trying to think of what all the computations here as to whether the North can still win.
No, they can't.
By the sound, by the sound of it,
No, they tune it up. So
Yeah.
that's 73, 67. Worst case 72, 68. If that's 3-0, now they can't win.
oh, that's nowhere near. How much does Katrina love long shots? We're just about to find out. I think she plays a bit of snooker, so these you'd imagine would be up in her wheelhouse. Now how does she play it? Slowly. I tell you what, that's not a bad result. This is such a hard shot down the rail. I know there's quite a few people who wouldn't mind one of these, but when it's the black, under this sort of pressure, oh, look at this for a shot! What a wonderful shot for a frame. So they managed to get the last frame. Katrina and Maxine win 2-1, but I wonder how much that's going to change the complexion of it. This is the score including that game that was just played on stream.
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with Suck It.
Someone. Richie was going to miss it anyway.
So I think we've only got, what have we got? We've only got one game being played at the moment, which is Kirsten Olmoa and Lizzie Moses, is it? I'm just trying to see from here. You can see the top right of your screen. So by the looks of it, the South are definitely going to win. If the score on the screen is correct, and this is the only game being played, then the North can only score 71. But the North Island had an 11 frame lead at one stage. It's about 2/3 of the way through. But then the South and the latter half of the second and then the third round just stormed back.
One much left. All over John.
I just wonder if I should just go down there.
You can go down.
So at the moment 73-68 to the North. Don't know what the score is in this only game that is going. But depending on the score, on how that scores, it's either going to be 73-71 to the South would be your final, or it could even go up to 76-68 to the South. Of course, there are a couple of scores in between those that could be possible, but the major uptake from that is that the South Island have won the North versus South clash. By how many frames we will find out. But we will see you back here for the streaming on the Friday. Because tomorrow's the trophy event, which I don't think will be streamed. But the championship post section that would be Friday, and that will be streamed. So we will join you back here for that. It's been an entertaining night's poll, I can tell you that much. You certainly know how to pour it on. It does the Kashmir Club, and of course all the people who have come here to support, and all of the players for making this such a memorable event.
If you want to eat it, that's fine.
So I'm John the Voice Saundercock, and I'm going to sign off here, because tomorrow I've got a DG course, or dangerous goods course for my job, and to be honest I need to go home, get some sleep, but it's been hella fun. Hope to see you all on Friday.
It doesn't matter how hard the job is, we suck it up and get it done. No matter how dirty our hands have to get, we suck it up and get it done. Suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up, suck it up, suck it up. Out for suck's sake, suck it up.
Suck it up and get it done with suckitup.co.nz.